Morning. How's everybody doing? Oscar Blue, live for every single one of you. Uh, it is all over the news, and it is now something that is certain. I wanted to make a really accurate, informative video with the communicated statement from the Republic of Venezuela. As you guys have seen, the massive influx of people from Venezuela has been nonstop. And this is a copy paste of what happened under the Obama administration. Barack Obama did exactly the same as what Joe Biden is doing right now. And I'm going to speak just facts for people that they want to do their own research. This is what actually happened. Obama was the most conflictive and most dangerous president for Latinos in history. He was the one that deported more Latinos and more Mexicans in history. He was that caused so many wars, not only in the Middle East, but also he caused a failed war in our country of Mexico, basically infiltrating himself with the failed policy of Fast and the Furious and causing more of a division and a destruction to our borders in our country. And he divided so many families. He returned back so many children, unaccompanied children, to coyotes and traffickers. It was a complete policy disaster. But the most important thing was that he brought the global compact on migration into the West Hemisphere. That is basically opening up the borders in the whole continent, in collusion and in cahoots with Enrique Peña Nieto, the past president of Mexico. He created the most lucrative industry of deportations and admissions. There were so many detention centers built, private prisons built under the Obama administration, that they were dedicated to hold migrants and to hold Latinos and to be deported immediately into their countries for illegal entry or for illegal re-entry into the United States. No program was made, no solution was made. Nothing was made under the Barack Obama administration. Then, ultimately, Joe Biden came in, and it is exactly the same thing. Another humanitarian crisis caused by inhuman policies, by the Global Compact on Migration, by the United Nations, that they created this ideology of open borders and being more humanitarian. And it has been completely the opposite. Even the Global Compact on Migration says that you have to migrate orderly, documented, peacefully, secure, and with a purpose. And all of that, it is upside down. They don't comply by that. What they have done is they have created the most lucrative business for the organized crime, for the cartel. That they're the ones that they're profiting. They're the ones that they are taking advantage of the migrants themselves. The ones that they are actually opening up the policies and actually creating this problem are the policies that they're implemented by the Biden administration and Alejandro Mayorkas. And now that they have seen that this is a great problem, that we have been basically informing you guys for so many years about this. We have been in the Darien Gap 4 times already. We have documented the migration in Central and South America. We have walked more than 9 caravans in the south of the border. We have documented in Mexico and the United States. And now that this is aggravated, that this is a problem that got out of hand, now that his lies are not lies anymore, they're actual facts. This is what he was, and this is what he was portraying to be, Joe Biden. Now everybody wants to go to Panama. Everybody wants to go to Colombia. Now you see the mayor of New York going to, right now, Puebla, visiting Mexico to try to resolve the migrant situation, because he opened up his mouth, and now that he has this gigantic problem, he doesn't know what to do with it. And ultimately, now that this is an aggravated problem, they don't even know how to fix it. And the problem is that the current administration, the Biden administration, has created so much animosity, not only inside of its country with these open border policies and this stupidity of how to handle a humanitarian crisis by calling it a challenge first instead of a crisis. But not only that, they have created so much animosity in Central and South America and the whole continent, because they look at this leader of this country as an incompetent individual that does not know what he's doing. Also, leaving the power of immigration to the United Nations and NGOs was the first aggravated problem of the United States. A lot of these NGOs, they are in it for the profit. They're in it for some other reasons that they are, I don't want to speculate, but we have caught them with fake marriages, fake matrimonies, and ultimately a lot of NGOs have been caught red-handed, profiting out of human vulnerabilities of the migrants. This is the reality. It is an industry for these people. It is an industry for the Biden administration. It is an industry for the NGOs. It is an industry for the United Nations, for OIM, for ACNUR. It is a human industry. Meanwhile, people are dying. Meanwhile, people are dying in the Darien Gap. Migrants are being extortioned. Migrants are being kidnapped. Migrants are creating this industry with the coyotes and the cartels because in their minds, as it has been implemented by the Biden administration, by all these leftist, progressive NGO mercenary activists, this ideology that the cartel, it's the only solution for you to get to a better life. And now that this problem gotten out of hand, remember that administration that it was preaching to the choir about the wall is divide, the wall is division, the wall is full of hate under the Trump administration. I'm not preaching for Trump, against Trump, nothing. I'm just saying facts. Remember when there were mercenary activists, leftist activists in Mexico, in our country of Mexico, these white liberals, they were in our country of Mexico spreading their hate to us, to Mexicans, to follow their political ideologies. And if we didn't follow their political ideologies, we were traitors to our own country. And they were protesting continuously against the wall, and the wall is full of hate. And they made up a hashtag, that hashtag chinga tu muro, and all this kind of stuff. And they were protesting continuously. Even Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib came over to Tijuana in 2019, and I saw her, and I asked her, what are you doing over here? And she was yelling at the wall and saying that the wall is divisive, and we should allow everybody in the world. And it's like, okay, that's your idea, yeah. AOC going to the border in El Paso, crying over a fence over the children, saying that the walls are full of hate, the walls full of division. All these mercenary activists, all these NGOs, all these organizations that were preaching and protesting against the wall, today they're eating their words. They're hypocrites, cynical hypocrites, because the wall is being built in Tijuana, in the parts of Imperial Beach, and is damaging an international park that is called Friendship Park. No activist, only one I have seen, standing there and saying, please do not damage the park. No leftist, progressive, communist activist has been standing there. No NGO on the Mexican side protesting. We have seen a few here and there on the other side of the United States, but none whatsoever in Mexico how they were doing. Rallying, going to the wall, screaming, yelling, doing all this kind of stuff. A couple of days ago, a statement was released by Alejandro Mayorkas saying that they are being authorized to put physical barriers in Texas, which means that they are reinstating the policies of building the wall in Texas. The hypocrisy of this administration has not only caused damages inside of their country, but in our country of Mexico. Complete damages, irreparable damages that nobody is going to repair. A lot of irreparable damages for preaching and winning the election under the pandering and using us as Latinos for your political gain and bait. Remember Joe Biden preaching and saying about, putting the song of the Despacito with Latinos, saying like, I play this song and you guys are going to fall for it and you guys are going to like me. Lying to the people, saying that more than 11 million undocumented individuals were going to get documented. Lying about saying people about DACA, saying that he was going to create a better pathway for migrants. Look at the pathway of debt. That is what it is. More migrants have died under this administration, possibly more than history. And they keep dying because of this idea that he has implemented, that the border is open, And whether they say that it's closed, because they say the border's not open, it's closed. You go to Del Rio and it is open. They cross the river. You go to whatever part in Texas and people are crossing through irregular pathways, making the cartels rich, making the organized crime rich, making billions of dollars. It is an industry for them. Yes, you have created so many jobs. We have seen them in Colombia and Necoclí. All the shopping carts for people to buy their things before they go inside the Darien. Yes, you have created a big industry with the piraguas and the culture of the Indians inside of the jungle in Panama, where now the tribes are not farming, they're not cultivating, they're leaving their culture because of the human smuggling that is coming in, and you have created another industry. You, the Biden administration, nobody else. You are killing the culture inside of the Panamanian people. You have created a better industry for NGOs, for lawyers, for all these people. Created a big industry. Yeah, you created jobs. The biggest industry is the cartels. You have created a humongous industry. Billions of dollars. Child trafficking is a nonstop. Human smuggling is a nonstop. Women abuse, nonstop. We have been there, documented, where women are telling us, I just been raped, I just been abused. We were in the middle of a crossfire with the agents of the jungle of Senafront, the border officials of Panama, where they were taking out 3 criminals. You guys remember that? And now, all of a sudden, everybody wants to go to Panama to assure the situation and to make sure that this is going to be handled. How's that re-election going? Elections are coming, huh? Political elections are coming. You have to do something radical. You have to do something that is right now remotely that catches a lot of attention for people to understand, oh, he's doing something about the border. Now he wants to build a wall. When Alejandro Mayorkas has been going to Panama, he has been landing at a place that is called Meteti. Meteti, it is an hour in some fraction from Lajas Blancas. That is the actual migrant camp. And from Lajas Blancas to the actual epicenter that we have taken to Bajo Chiquito, it's 3 hours on a piragua boat. Do you guys think that he landed over there? That he went once to see how the actual situations and epicenters are at? Of course not. Of course he has not. And now that the biggest industry for these, the Biden administration, the Obamas, was human deportation. The most racist president, it is Barack Obama in history of the United States. Just look at the numbers. The numbers speak for themselves. And again, you will see again these Democrats and ultimately these uniparty rhinos, these Republicans also, they don't do squat. A lot of Republicans, they don't do squat, just sitting down and collecting, the uniparty, collecting a lot of money, playing the fool, making millions out of this human misery. Now it is go time. Now is when the profit comes. Now is deportations. Return back. Companies, airlines, we need to have an agreement now. Transportation, security. We need to implement it. We need more federal funding. We need more. Stop the funding to the NGOs right now. Oh no, hold on. Increase the funding to the NGOs. They need it more now than ever. People are going to be returned back. Now you're going to see these NGOs working in Mexico again. And now another, again, they're going to be active in the part of Mexico without a permit, under the international wing of the United Nations, of course, because you tell them, do you have a permit to practice law in Mexico? We are under the international law. Of what? Human rights. That gives you the ability to be practicing law in our country. And now because of that, what I just told you, the Republic of Venezuela has gave out a statement. And these 2 things are really aggravated of this. One, is that the current administration of the United States of America, with the administration of Venezuela, this is the most aggravated thing. They sat down and talked. The Biden administration sat down clearly behind closed doors with the Maduro administration. When in history have you seen the United States so weak right now that they sat down and negotiated with a dictator that is always blaming that the crisis in his country is because of the sanctions and because of the blockage? But you walk with every Venezuelan. I have walked with thousands. To all you leftists, I have walked with thousands of Venezuelans. And I told them, is it because of the sanctions or is it because of communism? And they say, it is communism. And of course, every leftist progressive is going to say, that is not communism. That is just something else. Of course, of course it's not. Of course it's not. For you, it's not. For you, it's never. But for every person that is suffering, the hundreds of thousands, in the millions, not hundreds of thousands, the millions that they're running away from communism, for them it is. And today, the most aggravated thing is that the Biden administration sat down with a dictator and they negotiated. It seems like, it looks like, it feels like, and it smells like Maduro said, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll help you. But you need to keep me in power, man. Because if I'm not in power, this is going to be a disaster. It's never going to stop. So I will translate the statement from the Venezuelan government. It says, the government of Venezuela announces that between the conversations sustained between the authorities of Venezuela and the authorities of the United States of America, we have come to an agreement that the migration has permitted a return back home in an orderly, secure, and legal fashion from citizens of Venezuela from the United States to Venezuela. The Venezuelan migration in the last years has been a direct consequence of the applications of the corrective unilateral blockage of our economy that has infringed in an illegal and illegitimate manner to the international right of our international relations, and also to the nations that they have advocated for these rights as to the letter of the United Nations, of course. Venezuela will deploy a program that is called Return to the Country, with the enough resources for integral attention of our patriot connationals, and we will be observing the protection of the Constitution and law of our country and our nationals. This is the Biden administration sitting down and negotiating with the dictator. The hypocrisy of these people. The hypocrisy of preaching that they were going to help 11 million undocumented individuals. The hypocrisy of people that they were going to be helping and creating a better pathway for migrants. The hypocrisy of preaching that they were against the wall and now they're building the wall. The hypocrisy of saying that they were going to admit and vet a lot of people and now they're going to start deporting because it's a humanitarian business. It is what it is. For them, it is a profit. It is nothing else but a profit. Nothing else but a profit. That is what it is. And now you sit down and negotiate with the dictator, with the communist that has pushed millions of his people out of his country, out of misery, out of poverty, out of your dictatorship. There's still international exterior relations inside of Venezuela. There's governors, there's mayors that they're getting vehicles and exotic vehicles from outside of their country. How come it is because of the blockage and the sanctions? This is how amazing it is. The hypocrisy and the level of hypocrisy in this administration is beyond comprehension. It is really beyond comprehension. And everybody has asked why they don't deport all. And I will be bold by saying this. The United States of America needs the undocumented tax. They need that economy. I'm just going to be bold and say it. Why they haven't. You know that those local businesses, you know that typical Walmart that exists in a rough neighborhood, that gas station, those jobs that a lot of people don't want to do. How do you think that they maintain that economy? Who do you think that pays for those businesses to be sustainable? You're talking about billions of dollars. In this administration, the sad thing about it is that not only they said that they were going to document 11 million individuals, help the DACA recipients and all this kind of stuff. But the more sad thing about it is that there's no solution. This is the worst thing. This is the worst thing about it. There is no solution. No solution whatsoever. None. The only solution for them, it is now that this crisis is aggravated. Now everybody's saying it is a crisis. We have a border situation. We have a humanitarian crisis. Now we need to address it as it is. And not only that, but let's close it. Let's build the wall in Texas. Let's start deporting. And where's the solution for your humanitarian political campaign that you were preaching so much? Again, to all the Latinos out there, para toda nuestra gente latina, I will say this in Spanish and in English. Lo diré en español y en inglés. Until tiene que llegar el momento that we stop being, de que nosotros ya paremos, these politicians' puppets, que nosotros ya paremos de ser los títeres de estos políticos. Until we start realizing that we're not a minority, that is a word that only oppresses and denigrates our existence in that country. Hasta que pensemos en pensar que nosotros no somos una minoría en ese país, que ese es un término víctima y opresor para hacernos sentir menos. Until we stop thinking that the only jobs that we can do, it's plumbing, it is cutting the grass, it is working on the farmland, that those are honorable jobs that we have done for years, hasta que paremos de pensar que los únicos trabajos que nosotros somos elegibles para poder sacar adelante es cortar el pasto, trabajar en la plomería, en el roofing. Until we stop thinking that we are second-class citizens, not in the United States, in the whole continent, if we don't stop thinking like that, we will never move forward. Si seguimos pensando que somos ciudadanos todavía de segunda clase, no solamente en los Estados Unidos, en todo el continente, nunca vamos a salir adelante. These politicians are going to come and they are going to take advantage of the immigration situation, making it propaganda, making for their political gain, and never fixing the damn problem. Y mientras nosotros vamos a estar sentados, escuchando cómo estos políticos nos vienen a menear el dedo en la boca con el atole de que nos van a ayudar. Y Simplemente ellos van y se sientan y utilizan su propaganda en el sufrimiento de nosotros. That is the real problem. We Latinos, nosotros los Latinos, we are conservative by root. Somos conservadores nosotros de raíz. We go by the values of family. Nosotros nos vamos por los valores familiares. We go by the values of God. Nosotros tenemos mucha fe en Dios. We go by the values of education and moving forward and hard work. Nosotros somos por valores de Dios, familia, trabajo, chingado. Do not let these politicians come and brainwash your brain with lies like Joe Biden just did. No dejemos que estos políticos vengan y nos laven el cerebro de que nos van a ayudar cuando solamente ven su provecho, como lo ha hecho Joe Biden. We need to understand that we have the capabilities and capacities to do much more. Necesitamos entender que tenemos la capacidad y las habilidades para tener mucho más. And now it is a perfect time to show that we have a huge voice of power to support law and order. Ahora es el tiempo que tenemos la voz más fuerte en la nación de los Estados Unidos y en todo el continente, donde ahora nosotros podemos decir, esto es lo que nos merecemos, nosotros los latinos. It is now more than ever, we, the Latino population. For the future of your children, por los futuros de sus hijos, háganlo. For the future of your grandchildren, por el futuro de sus nietos, háganlo. It is time for us to wake up. Es tiempo ya de despertar. Do not let these people brainwash you. No dejen que esta gente les lave el cerebro ya. Look what they have done. Mira lo que han hecho. A complete disaster, un completo desastre. People are still losing their lives. Gente sigue perdiendo la vida over these policies, sobre estas pólizas, estas políticas migratorias. It is now more than ever. Ahora es cuando. Tenemos que estar juntos. We need to advance together. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. Soy Oscar Blue para Real America's Voice News. The most aggravated thing about this, lo más agravante de todo esto, I will say it in English now. The most aggravated thing about this, now that we're having this conversation, is two things. One is that the Biden administration sat down with a dictator like Nicolás Maduro and negotiated. That is one of the things that is so sad for the Venezuelan people. I have come really close to the Venezuelan people. I love the Venezuelan people. They're really good people, hardworking, beautiful people. But they have been hijacked by a communist system. And we need to understand that the migration is a human right, but in those human rights, there's laws. And we need to obey those laws and obey the processes of migration. There's no solution whatsoever by this administration. Let's move forward from that. And let's start creating better pathways in our countries. Nayib Bukele did exactly the same for his country. And look at his people. They're people of El Salvador. They're preaching to the world that they have the best president of El Salvador. And they have the best president of the world. They have the best president in the world. There's nobody else better than Nayib Bukele. Nobody else right now on this face of the earth, it is the best president than El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. And he's a Latino president. And he's showing to the world that he can fix his country with his own resources, with his own people. It is time for us to change the world, for Central and South America to have the opportunity to be first class. We need to stand together and not be treated as second-class citizens, not be cheated on like the Democrats and some rhino Republicans have done, lying to us just for their political votes and their propaganda. And now you will see these people go into the Darien Gap. Now all of a sudden they're interested. And now they want to build the wall. And now they want to start massively deporting. Aggravated thing is that Joe Biden and the Biden administration sat down with Nicolas Maduro and negotiated. What kind of administration is that? Criminal. These are crimes against humanity for Alejandro Mayorkas. But the most sad thing about it is that there's no solution. There's no solution whatsoever. A humanitarian solution. A solution that will come and bring people together, bring countries together, bring economies to these countries that they're suffering for jobs and a better life, insecurity and corruption. There's no solution for that. The only solution for these people is to lie and then use them and make a profit out of it. Sad thing about it is the reality. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to all. I wanted to do a little quick live for all of you on this Friday. And, and talk about the current situations as they have been exacerbated and growing massively. I would like to welcome our new audience. The platform is growing in Facebook to 93,000 followers. We are almost at 100,000 followers. We stopped, the platform stopped growing for some critical time. We don't know why. But now we have, Facebook is letting us grow, and we are so privileged of having that. So to all our new followers, this is our page. There's a link on the bottom if you guys like to donate and contribute to our work. We're going to be traveling soon again. And we have other pages also that you can go and subscribe, like my YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Oscar Blue Ramirez. My Twitter, I don't use Twitter that much. I'm going to start using it around this next weekend. We're going to start posting consistently over there. I would like to start using Twitter in Spanish. Spanish and English. I think that is extremely important. We have two languages that we manage, and I think that it's extremely important for us to do so. And we got Getter, and we got all other platforms. Instagram also, that's where I post the most. So I want to say thank you to all for this moments that you guys gave me to talk about this current situation now, what the Biden administration is criminally going to do. Let's see how they act. And let's see what happens, because they just created a humanitarian crisis. And that's just, it boils your stomach that they sat down with Nicolas Maduro and negotiated. And it boils your stomach that not only that, if they sat down and negotiated, where's the solution? So sad. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, God's plan is our mission.